Alright, this probably gonna be like the last video we react to. I ain't gonna lie. I don't got enough time because them God of War missions be long as shit. I'm not gonna lie. They be long. But alright, when you score 83 points in the game, nobody cares. Who's he talking about?
Scoring nights throughout NBA history, and you will see a list of the greatest
It's
players
ironic
to
because
ever
like
play the
right
game.
after we
Jordan
reacted to that other video he had
Steph
like 100
62,
points in the game.
Lillard 71,
It's actually
Luka
insane.
73, Kobe Bryant's famous 81. It's the most coveted record book in all of basketball, a testament and historical evidence
64.
of the greatest nights in NBA history by some of the greatest players in NBA history. Which begs the question, what the hell is Bam Adebayo doing here with a mind-boggling modern NBA record of 83 points?
No, hold on. I still gotta know, when did Giannis have 84? No, 64. Why don't I remember this? Against the Pacers, he had 64. Sheesh. He could have had 72. I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
Points. Well, this, my friends, is the result of quite possibly the most egregious case of stat padding the NBA has ever seen.
Facts.
And despite scoring the second most points in a
And the fact that we allowed Bam Adebayo to get 83 points is absolutely nasty. But then again, he was stat padding the hell out of that. But he was intentionally fouling. And then we was ended up fouling him, triple teaming him. Guess what? He's getting fouled. They was missing free throws on purpose. This and the third. It's like, damn.
Single game in the history
I
of
was
the
striving
NBA.
to get that.
Bam's 83-point night will go down as one of the most shocking and controversial games we may ever see.
Show did get it though. He did get 83. It's actually nuts. Gotta respect him for that.
Today's play one physical time out to be. This is Arena of the Club Code Day night in a game featuring the Washington Wizards and the Miami Heat. With 1 minute and 46 seconds left in the fourth quarter, the Heat were up 146 to 119. By all conceivable measures, this game was a blowout. It's over. But with that being the case, why is Drew Smith attempting a full court heave while his team is up nearly 30 points on a piss-poor Wizards team? Well, he's not. He's trying to get the ball to Bam Adebayo, who is being double-teamed 50 feet away from the ball.
What kind of pass is
He
that?
has 79 points and absolutely no intention of subbing out of this game. At this point, the only way Bam is going to add to his historic total will be at the free throw line, because Washington is now guarding him with their...
Alright, bro, no funny. I don't know why y'all full court press him like this. It's Bam, bro. Like, his bag is not insane, like, compared to, like, other scores. His bag ain't that insane. Like, that's not that crazy.
Entire roster. And what started as a normal basketball game has now become a full-blown circus act. But
like, you tell me y'all boys can't stick with Bam? Come on, now.
In just the first quarter of this game, Bam Adebayo had 31 points,
the
second most points scored in the first quarter of a game in NBA history. By halftime, Bam had 43, already a career high, and the second most points scored in the first half of a game in NBA history. Going into the third, the Wizards still had no answer for Bam. His points still flooding in, both naturally in the flow of the game and ethically. By the end of the third, Bam had 62 points, which
he ended up with 21
is the
more
second
points.
most points through 3 quarters in NBA history. Before the start of the fourth quarter, Bam's performance was already being celebrated by his teammates and fans. He had broken LeBron's franchise scoring record of 61. He set a new career high, and the Heat were blowing the Wizards out by 20. And it is at this point where Bam and his coaching staff are left with a decision. Stay in the game and build onto an already substantial lead. Leave the floor and sub out as the hero
made him do
of the
that? I thought they was gonna
night,
sub
or
him
stay
out.
in the game and potentially chase the league scoring record. What decision should they make? Well, it just so happens that I covered this exact predicament in my last video, where I asked the question, is it possible to score 100 points in an NBA game? The final verdict? Yes, it is possible. The only problem? The circumstances required to have such a game.
He gave out
are
the
so
exact circumstance. He said the game got to be close. He specifically said game got to be close, and you need to be like having a high hand. And there was only one of the two one out of two circumstances that was actually correct about it.
Likely that
What
we
are the
will
odds?
probably never see 100 points ever again.
Crazy.
Unless a player is willing to infringe on the integrity of the game itself. There have been many games throughout the years that had record-breaking potential, but for a few reasons, most notably the game being a blowout and the potential record breaker respectfully sitting the final quarter, there have been very few instances where a player was able to genuinely chase the record without any negative consequences. How did Bam Adebayo drop the most points in modern NBA history on a random Tuesday night in March?
Staying in the game. By staying.
History of the NBA. Now 3. Bam.
That's a foul? Whoa, that's a foul, ref. Alright, that's a foul, ref.
By choosing option C and infringing on the integrity of the game in what could have been a celebrated, memorable, and ethical performance. Bam and the Heat decided to go a different route. With about 9 minutes left in this game, Bam had this incredible and one. A blow-by followed up with this great acrobatic finish at the rim through contact, and an explosion from the fans in the arena. And after hitting the free throw, this would have been the ideal and historically acceptable moment for Bam to check out of this
Sub came
game.
out.
It was his 70th point of the night. Miami had the game all but wrapped up. And up to this point, all of his points were ethical, non-GMO, farm-raised buckets. But instead, Bam stayed in the game. And here is how he scored his final 13 points. Free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw, miss 3, layup, free throw, miss 3, turnover, miss 3, free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw, intentional miss free throw, attempting to manufacture
Like,
more
look at
points.
that shit,
free
man.
Throw, free throw. Bye-bye Kobe. Hello,
Crazy.
Bam. In what is now being called the most unethical game of basketball the league has ever seen, the Miami Heat spent the final 7 minutes of this game executing
That's not a moving screen right there. That ain't moving screen.
all the league has
He ain't even-
ever
look,
seen. The Miami
Look,
Heat spent
buddy ain't even want contact. He leaning in. That ain't even a straight. Come on now, ref. That's not even a legal screen. Look at him. He don't even want to be there.
the final 7 minutes
Right,
of this game
what?
executing every conceivable tactic to manufacture more points for Bam Adebayo. Chucking up unnecessary threes, intentionally fouling the Wizards to get possession,
Like, that's
even
crazy
going
as
as
hell.
far as intentionally missing a free throw to try to get the ball back to Bam. And as a result, they are quickly discovering why Kobe's modern scoring record stood for so long and why no one can seem to match it despite a number of players getting close. Because, wait, I actually already said this a week ago. Let me find the clip real quick. 100 points in a single game is possible, but the circumstances required to have such a game, to justify one player taking that many shots and doing so without infringing on the integrity of the game, is so narrow that we may never see it happen again. That's right. The fallout for unapologetically chasing out. Yeah. This is truly a definitive and timeless
Crazy.
paradox of big performances. Historic nights like this have become less about can a player pull it off and more about do the circumstances
Allow
require
him
a
to.
player to pull it off, in which case the circumstances virtually never do. This performance from Bam is not only proof of that, but it is evidence of what we all have known to be the truth. There are many players around the league right now who could go for 80, 90, maybe even 100
Shit, I'm trying to think. Who we think could go for 80 and 90? I feel like Jokic could really do it. Like, he could get that many free throw attempts because he gonna get fouled. I feel like Jokic could do it. Luka can do it for real. Can Ant do it? Probably. I don't know. I feel like between them two, Luka and Jokic could. Shea, he might be able to as well. Let me think. He could get fouled enough. Shea could. Who else? Let me think all the scores. KD. But KD's never really been a KD's a circumstance where, like, he's never been a high volume type of scorer. Like, he don't take that many shots a game for that to happen. I don't know.
points
That's
on the
right.
right night. If they set their minds
trying to
to
think
it,
of someone
if
who takes
them
a
and
lot
their
of
team
shots
game
anyway.
plan for it, if it is their sole focus for 48 minutes, if the Washington Wizards are on their schedule, but even attempting something like this
I mean, damn.
would require a player to break the unwritten rules of basketball. And that clearly isn't worth the backlash of possibly pulling it off. It isn't worth it. So what were the fruits of Bam's labor? The second most points in a single game in NBA history, the most free throw attempts in a single game in NBA history,
Shaq
by
ain't no
far the most free throws made in a game in NBA history,
80 at
and the
26,
fifth most
holy
three-pointers
shit.
attempted in a game. Oh, and he also broke the record for the most criticism received by a single player in one game. Now, if we
For
ignore
shit show.
all context and what it took to get there, according to the game score metric, which takes all the good things a player does in the box score minus all the bad things and spits out a number that attempts to reflect the impact a player had on a game, Bam had statistically the 6th best game in NBA history, which is unfortunate that it will not be remembered as such. In my last video, I used this chart to display the greatest scoring nights in
but
NBA
top
history
6 good,
and the
top 10
pace these
good.
players were on to reach their final totals. For example, here's Luka's 73, here's Booker's 70, Lillard's 71, here's Kobe's 81, and here is Bam's 83. Through 3 quarters, he was tied for the second most points all time going into the fourth. In fact, that and one bucket in the fourth quarter that I mentioned earlier is right here. All of his buckets leading up to this point were non-forced ethical buckets within the flow of the game. Bam Adebayo was playing out of his mind, better than anyone ever has in modern NBA history, even before all of these shameless scoring tactics were deployed.
He was just having one of the best games
ever. All of this outrage took place here in the final 9 minutes of the game. All of this is now invalid because of this. A week ago, I said the methods the Warriors used to get Wilt to 100 were outrageous and would never be used in the modern NBA. 7 days later, we're watching a center get triple teamed 94 feet out while up 25 with no admissible reason for him still being on the court.
Like, y'all trying to tell me that's not a moving screen by him?
I don't think these final minute tactics are worth discrediting this entire performance. 83 points is 83 points. Regardless of how you go about getting them, you still have to go out and get them. The irony of this whole thing is that I've seen a lot of comments about how this game was proof for some fans that Wilt Chamberlain actually did score 100 back in 1962 despite there being no video evidence. If Bam can get to 83, Wilt Chamberlain could and definitely did get to 100. Which there's already a laundry list of proof from that game. I don't know why this would be the determining factor. But if Bam's game is being ridiculed and dismissed, even if the criticism is justified, then so should the mythical 100-point scoring record. Because the way that Bam got his points...
They really got that honey wrote in crayon. That's crazy when you think about it. They wrote that 100 in a crayon, man. In a black crayon. Insane.
Is the exact method Wilt used to get his. Like, literally. Bar for bar. During the final minutes of Heat Wizards, Keyshawn Johnson
give him the ball and just move out the way
in hopes that the Heat would get the rebound to get it back to Bam. This is exactly what the Warriors did for Wilt. The Heat also intentionally fouled while holding an insurmountable lead to get the ball back faster. The Warriors did the same exact thing to get Wilt to 100. If Bam's 83 points is invalid because of these tactics, then for that same reason, so is Wilt's 100. Not only did the 2 biggest scoring nights in NBA history deploy the most gimmicky, shameless tactics to pull it off, this is quite possibly the only way to pull it off. The only difference between Bam's 83 and Wilt's 100 is video cameras and an angry mob of critics online. Now, to be completely honest, I was thrilled to finally see a coach allow his player to chase a record and have himself a night that
shout out to
most players
Spoelstra
could
for that.
only dream of.
That's
You want to know how many games I've watched that were spoiled by an early sub? A player being punished for giving too much belt to the opposing team. A 3-point party cut short because they were playing too good. Potential record shut down because it wouldn't be in good taste. If this is what it takes to make up for all the times I had to watch Steve Kerr pull a player from a game on the verge of a league record, then so be it. I am just as surprised as you that I will now see Bam Adebayo's name above Kobe Bryant's for the rest of my days.
Everybody just knew to be in the game. Everyone for some odd reason just felt the need to be in this game on a random Tuesday night. Watching us, the Wizards, play the Miami Heat. Everyone felt the need to go to this game, huh? Y'all just felt like, let's go to this one. Y'all felt the need to be there.
Stay in this game, emphatically do what no one else would dare. Was
insane.
Just as
Everyone
fun
felt like that.
as it was shocking. Which, by the way, every single player, without exception, would choose to stay in the game and chase a record if their coach allowed them to.
Man, if your bitch head don't get on fucking defense, what are you doing all that complaining for?
To stay in the game and chase a record.
What you looking up for? Gil, get your ass on defense, bro.
If
I
their
can't
coach
stand Anthony
allowed
Gill on
them
my
to.
team, bro.
This
I don't
just
know what he
happens
do.
to be the rare case where a coach did allow it. How can we blame Bam for doing something every player would do if given the chance? I don't know, maybe instead of putting all the blame on the man who just scored 83 points in an NBA game, we should aim that frustration at the team that allowed it to happen. Throughout this game, Bam attempted 43 shots, which is a lot. But you want to know who shot more shots in a single game?
Well,
Kobe. And Kobe, and Westbrook, and DeJounte Murray, and Kobe, and Cade Cunningham, and Kobe, Chris Webber, Kobe, Brunson, Jordan.
That Cade game was against us as well. If y'all was curious, it was against us.
And Kobe. What about all those free throws Bam attempted? Those are the symptom of a team desperate to slow a player down, but can't stop him without fouling. It has been
what the fuck was that
decades
defense
since the
too?
last
Yo,
time a
what
player
y'all
chased
kind of
points
defense
to
is
this
that? We
extent.
drawing
No
fouls?
one had a coaching staff that allowed him to do it. But as I previously mentioned, this feels like conclusive proof that the only thing keeping that 100-point record intact is sheer respect for the unwritten rules and the opposing team and the game itself. If Bam can go for 83, I can only imagine what players like Luka, Shea, Giannis, Ant, Wemby could go for if given the opportunity. But now that we're stuck looking at this for the foreseeable future, what are your thoughts on this game? Do you feel like Bam's 83 was legitimate, or did the tactics used at the
83,
end
I
of
can't
this
even get
game
mad at that.
damage
83
the
points,
legacy
83
of this
points.
performance and how we remember
It just had to be against us for some
So
reason.
let me
It just
know
had to
your
be
thoughts
against
in the
us.
comments below. And as always, until next time.
It's crazy as hell. Actually crazy. 83 is 83.